All right, it's time for some more devotional thoughts from 1 Timothy. This is chapter 5, verses 1 through 8, but really can be applied through verse 16, I think. Do not rebuke an older man, but encourage him as you would a father, younger men as brothers, older women as mothers, younger women as sisters, in all purity. Honor widows who are truly widows. But if a widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show godliness to their own household, and to make some return on their parents. For this is pleasing in the sight of God. She who is truly a widow, left all alone, has set her hope on God and continues in supplications and prayers night and day. But she who is self-indulgent is dead even while she lives. Command these things as well, so that they may be without reproach. But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So it starts out with these comments about how to approach members of the family, beginning with older men, then younger men, then older women and younger women. And it says, do not rebuke an older man, but encourage him as you would a father. This is not to say that there's never a place for rebuke to happen, but rather the language here is talking about a sharp rebuke, about being harsh with somebody. That's why later in that verse 2, it says, in all purity, and this is a sense of gentleness and care. The point of this all is that there's a process, right? We look at Paul and how he talks about church discipline, and there's a very distinct process that's supposed to be gone through before the severe aspects of church discipline take place. But it begins with this right here. And listen to the words that he uses, how he communicates about how that Timothy is supposed to deal with the people around him, and not just Timothy, but the church at large. Don't rebuke older men, but encourage him as you would a father. Younger men as brothers, older women as mothers, younger women as sisters. So we have older men, older women, younger women, fathers, brothers, mothers, sisters. This is familial language, right? The whole book of 1 Peter talks about how, as believers, we're connected. We have a connection, a family-like connection. We are co-heirs with Christ. We have been adopted into this family. We are not just individuals on our own path, but we are supposed to be taking care of one another, caring for each other in very distinct ways. And in this passage that Paul is talking to Timothy, he's using some of that same language. We're supposed to be taking care of each other, dealing with each other like we would if we were family, because we are family. So then it goes into the widows, right? Honor widows, but if a widow has children or grandchildren, let them first, the children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show godliness to their own household and make some return on their parents. So as a body, as believers, we are to care for one another, but the first right of honor for caring for others begins with the biological family. So yes, spiritual family altogether, but biological family has the first right, the first responsibility for care. And then jumping down to the end, if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his own household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So here Paul's using like apostate language. They have abandoned their faith. So he's saying there's a connection then between how a person takes care of his own family and what he believes is true about God. Think about that. How I take care of my wife and my children, how I take care of my parents and my brothers and sisters, has something to say about what I believe to be true about who God is. How have I failed that? I know there's a million ways. I know that I haven't cared for my mom the way I should be. I know I haven't cared for my dad the way I should. I know I've neglected my wife and my children in selfishness. And that's something I need to repent of. That's something that Paul is encouraging Timothy to gently encourage the family to do in the right way. So what am I saying about God when I don't care well for my parents or my wife or my children the way I ought to? I'm saying maybe it's that I feel that my own needs are more important than others. And so I fulfill my own desires rather than serving the way I ought to. Maybe it's communicating that the family care isn't important, and that goes against God's own teaching, because here is the prime example of what family care is. His own creation, his children that he has made, beginning with Adam and continuing on all the way down the line to us. He continually cares for us. So much so that in the midst of our ugly, dirty brokenness and sinfulness, he came himself, God, to be with us, to take care of our biggest need that we ever had, and that's being right with him. That's something that I need to remember. In the midst of my own prioritization and trying to take care of things, I need to remember that the greatest issue that needs to be dealt with in my life is my sin, and God's made a path for me. And therefore, I need to be looking at my parents, my wife, my children, my brothers, sisters, in that same light. That God gave himself to die for his family so that they could be with him. And that's the model for me. Self-sacrifice, giving up my own desires and taking care of the more important things in life. Paul talks about considering others as better than yourselves. And well, is my daughter better than me? Maybe in some ways, but not in all ways. But that's not what he's getting at. The point of that is that her needs are more important than my own, and I need to be caring for her first and giving her my best and trusting the Lord to take care of me. If I'm acting selfishly, am I also saying in some way, I think I am, God, I don't trust you to take care of my needs? And the reality is, my greatest needs have all been taken care of. He's blessed me beyond any material blessing that could ever come. So what is it that I have to lose? What is it that I'm trying to preserve for myself? Some temporal thing that is eventually going to turn to ash when the earth is destroyed? I need to fix my eyes on Christ and his sacrifice and live the way that he has shown us to live, self-sacrificially for the sake of others, so that they can also see the goodness of God in the gift of Jesus. That's it for today. Hope you're having a good one. We'll see you.